Greetings everyone, and welcome back to another video where I'm going to be looking at not a cheapo device. Well, it kind of is a cheapo device from my point of view, but from your point of view, it's not a cheapo device. I could not work this intro out for the life of me because it's not a phone we're taking a look at today. It's a thing. That best describes this is it's a thing that's meant to be used in businesses as a point of sale system to print out receipts and all that sort of stuff. But I have it today to test it as a regular Android device. This video is probably going to be really chaotic and all over the place. So if you feel the need to skip past certain segments of this video, feel free to do so using the timestamps in the description as well as the pinned comment. If you want to skip past, because I'm going to go through the listing, going through all the settings and all the sort of stuff that we do in these videos. I'm going to be doing all that in this one. So if you don't want to stick around for the whole entire video, that's completely fine. Feel free to use those timestamps. Also, if YouTube automatically adds more ads into my video, feel free to use AdBlock or YouTube Advanced if you want to, because I know it can be very disruptive trying to watch a video and then all of a sudden it's just ad. I try and minimize them down, but then they just get automatically added back into it again. So yeah, feel free to use that option if you need to. Now, before I get into the listing, I actually do have some more business orientated Android devices, like actual big barcode scanners with the handle that has an extra battery in it. I've got them, and I also have the Zebra. Don't remember the name of it. Instead of describing it, I'll just show you this thing here. So the plan was to review what I'm going to be reviewing today, then review the other ones, and then review this one last as a sort of, little mini series, I guess. Because I'm really interested to see how these things work outside of a business setting. Let's just see if we can go on YouTube with them and make phone calls if we can and all that sort of stuff. All the stuff that you usually couldn't do with them. Okay, with that really rambly intro out of the way, today we're going to be taking a look at the Sunmi V2 POS Terminal PDA Thermal Printer Android 7.1 Portable All-in-One Handheld PDA POS Printer 4G Bluetooth Barcode Scanner. I managed to say that all in one go as well. Well done me. Currently on AliExpress, this is the cheapest one that you can purchase for 240 Australian dollars. So I'll display a currency conversion chart on screen to give you a rough idea of how much this thing costs. Now, it may seem a little bit expensive for just a normal Android device, but as you've already noticed in the title, this thing has a printer on it and is meant to be used in a business for payments and all that sort of thing. However, my unit I did not get from AliExpress. I have not purchased it brand new. I've instead purchased it from ewaste. I found it at ewaste and went, that will make an interesting review. I'll talk more about the story after the listing, so you might want to stick around for that. So let's get the listing out of the way. Now, if the name Sunmi V2 might ring a bell, it probably does, but probably not in the way you think I'm saying it. Sunmi V2, I believe, is a sub-product from Xiaomi, most likely anyways, because it's got the Xiaomi Mi logo on it, so I'd put two and two together. Going through the pictures in the listing, we have the product size, which has, the usual measurements and stuff like that, and the paper mouth, instead of like opening for paper or something. The paper mouth. We also have power key and the volume button. There's also this picture of it printing, and the receipt looks totally photoshopped with chili fries, buffalo wingers? Buffalo wingers? Huh, and a shrimp cocktail, all stuff I don't eat. Then we have some advertising for the settings that this should be used in, like on a bench. This person looking absolutely dumbfounded on what is going on. This person putting lettuces, cabbages in a wall. What is going on? The next photo shows us the tech specs, which has a 70mm Seiko printer, or Psycho printer? No, it wouldn't be called Psycho. Seiko, probably. A 95 decibel speaker. I'll say that's inaccurate, but we'll get to that. Double space for tilt roll, a 5 megapixel camera with flash and autofocus, a 5.45 inch IPS display, a 7.6 volt lithium polymer battery, 4G and Wi-Fi, and a sleek 17.8mm body thickness. Well, sleek for one of these units anyways. And yeah, mobile payments and ordering and takeaway and queue control. More scenarios for what this thing could be used for. Now there's this picture that says indoor and outdoor applications with eSIM. However, my unit has eSIM disabled. I've tried and I'll show you it, but it just doesn't do anything. Dual band Wi-Fi and 4G connectivity. Then we have the 95 decibel speaker, which if we zoom in, the 95 decibel 1 watt speaker supports real-time voice prompt on auto receiving, number in the queue and payment. No more missed number, payment or order, even in the noisiest environments. Also, the battery, 2,580 milliamp hours, and the text that's over to the side there is kind of cut off a little bit, so we'll just read a bit of it. And the best part, taking typical user behavior into account, it automatically prevents overcharge or over-discharge, which significantly extends battery life. Conveniently used in poorly lit environment, the 5-megapixel autofocus camera with flashlight complete with autofocus assures rapid scanning and error-free data collection, even in poorly lit environments. Yeah, it's got an LED flash, and it works, so that's good. It runs Sunmi OS 3.0, which is Android, of course. 8GB of storage and 1GB of RAM. That 8GB, I am only limited to about 4GB of internal storage, which is not a lot for this unit. And there's also no support for a microSD card on this, so I am very, very limited, and GPS equipped as well. Thin, sleek, and handy at 17.8mm thickness and oblique ergonomic design makes it easy to hold for various sizes of hands. It fits in the pocket of aprons and coats. You wouldn't want to be putting this in your jeans pocket, that's for sure. Unless you have some really baggy jeans on, you may be able to just fit it. It's also lightweight. It only weighs 364 grams, making it a practical and user-friendly device to be easily held for a long time, improving efficiency of ordering and payment processing. And finally, we have the full specifications right here of the device, which we have a quad-core 1.3 GHz processor or quad-core 1.5 GHz processor. I believe I've got 1.3 in this. You can have 1 GB of RAM plus 8 GB of storage, or 2 GB of RAM and 16 GB is an optional thing. Obviously, most default ones are 1 GB and 8 GB. 5.45-inch HD plus 1440 by 720 18:9 IPS display. Charging is only 5V 2 amps. Dual band Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, the loudspeaker, the weight being 364 grams, 2580 mAh battery, communication methods 4G, 3G and 2G, supports Type-C, 1 nano SIM card slot, GPS, the printer, and the camera, which is just 5-megapixel autofocus with flash LED. And it also has an optional base that obviously I didn't get with this. That's all I want to show you in the listing, because realistically, we're all here to see this thing. So let me present to you the Sunmi V2. This is the thing. In SMOOREZ tradition, I now need to ramble on for about 5 minutes telling you all the story and details about this device without even showing you this device. You can stare at this device if you want. Maybe I can flip it over and you can see the back of it. There you go. That looks a little better. I went to ewaste. There it was. I went, okay, this is cool. This would make a fun review. I said, how much do you want for this? He says, $10. I go, okay, I purchase it. And then I had to go somewhere after there, so I charged it in my car. However, it would not charge. It just refused to do nothing. So I held the power and the volume keys for a while, and all of a sudden it started charging. And then it decided to scare the absolute living daylights out of me while I was driving, which then prompted me to pull over and work out what was going on with it. Then I switched it off, came back home, plugged it in again, got it up and running, and then found out these tablets were used for Deliveroo, which is a delivery service. And these devices from the factory are all completely ready to go. But if they're given to a business, they actually have to make an account for the application that's built onto this, and then it's basically locked to their business. And then when you power this on, it comes up with, you have to sign in and you cannot use Android in any way. Kind of. You could, if you just slide down the top of the device, I was able to get to settings and was able to disable that and then use it as normal. So good job security wise. But then I was at a crossroads because I've went, well, I can uninstall that app, but I'd rather try and use this thing a little bit more than just it being in its lockdown state. So while on a live stream, a couple of people, including my good friend PancakeSparkle, went on a 5-hour journey downloading a custom firmware for this device that puts it back to the absolute factory settings with no login or anything like that, includes some Google Play services that I can't quite get to work, and also in that process I needed to have root access so I could put the Google Play services stuff on, but that didn't work, and I was here for quite a long time, 5 hours, trying to work it out. But don't worry, fear not. I have got it into a working state that I can review this. But I just wanted to let you all know that this thing has been an absolute pain in the ass to get to a usable state where I can demonstrate all the functionality without it saying, hey, you need to sign in, you have to do this. And these also activate as well. They have to activate. So when I factory reset this, while the login details were on here, it came up as, your device was activated in September of 2022. And I went, oh, and you have to use Wi-Fi to set this up as well. Even with this custom firmware, you still need Wi-Fi to set it up. It's just a thing with this thing. Now that you've all probably fallen asleep to me telling you the stories of this thing, to sum it all down into a couple of words, pain in the ass is what this thing is. But if I didn't have help from people on stream as well as PancakeSparkle, we wouldn't have this unit in its current working condition. So let's go ahead and do some silly things with it. Since you've been staring at the back for about 5 minutes now, let me showcase to you the Sunmi V2. We have the HD camera just at the back there, 5 megapixels, the LED flash. Then we have 2 little contacts. This is a door that hides something very important. Down the bottom here, we've got wireless data POS system version 2 with a serial number, made in China. Of course you are. To get into the device, you kind of gotta, you know, do a little something like this, and there we go. We have a storage compartment that I'm not too sure what the storage compartment's actually used for, because there's no micro SD card slot. So I kind of just stare at this and go, can I put SIM cards in there? Maybe battery, some sort of a snack, just in case you're hungry later on and no one's watching while you're in the shop and you can be like, yoink. That's a possibility, but yeah, that exists. Probably the upgraded versions have something here, most likely. Then we have the single nano SIM card slot with the IMEI listed right there. Not that you can really see that IMEI listed. I'll show you in the system anyways. But at the moment, I will put a Telstra SIM in this. Going around the size of the device, this is what it looks like, because that's where the printer is. We're gonna have fun with the printer. Type-C port, then we literally have nothing else around the device except for the volume rocker and the power button, and nothing else there. Top of the device, nothing there. We have the bright orange top, which screams Xiaomi, because obviously Xiaomi. Then we also have the paper mouth. I mean, the, you know, razor strip that goes along there could be counted as teeth, so I guess they're pretty close. Then we have the 5.45 inch IPS display, and there is no sensors, no nothing. It is just a screen, and that's it. I have receipt paper in here. Sorry, more story time. I just wanted 1 roll of this, and I went to Officeworks to purchase 1 roll, but it turns out you had to buy a bulk lot, which makes sense. And I asked them, is there any way that they could just provide me 1 roll? Because I only needed 1 roll for testing. They didn't. So when I went back to eWaste, I asked the guy there if I could borrow a roll of his receipt paper, and so I have now borrowed it. That just sits in there. We've got a little gear there and the little rolly thing. I'm not too familiar with printed terminology actually. And then the razor thing, and then in there is the thermal printer, which if you can kind of see just in there, you can see the bits of it. But hopefully when I tear this down, and if it survives, I'll get to show you all that. So I'll just put that there. Perfect. I'm going to factory reset this device and set it up so you can see what setup actually looks like on this device, and then we'll continue on. Okay, so this is what setting up the Sunmi V2 looks like. So we go next, then we just press next for that, and then we go next for that because it doesn't matter. Read the terms and conditions, that's completely fine. I can't go next. I can do mobile, but I won't use my data. If you press experience, you have a time limit of 30 minutes to play around with this. If someone wants to purchase this and they just want to get a feel of this, I suppose that's kind of fine, but I just think it's kind of funny that, oh, hang on, wait, what? Okay, well, we'll reset then. That's factory data resetting again. Okay, never mind, we're starting again. Now that we're factory reset again, let's now continue on and set this up again. So I won't press experience, I'll connect to Wi-Fi with the Sunmi keyboard, which I do not like. And now I can go next, check in device status, and there we go. Activated on September 26, 2022. And then we just start config. This comes up, so we agree, and there's the whole register thing, loading custom content. Now, usually at this point in time, it would come up with the shop manager to then say, you now have to set this up, and you can't go any further with that because you need to make an account. So if we enter the system, that's literally it. The tools folder, settings, app store, and POS Steward. But otherwise, yeah, that's what this looks like when it's all set up with the custom firmware, of course. Okay, hopefully you've just seen the setup of this thing. Let's just not have the printer paper in here. Let's take this out. We don't need this at the moment. What would we need that for? Power on the device. Here we go. Sorry for the fingerprints. This thing gets fingerprints on it like crazy. You just heard the little, the printer goes, and then we have the little orange logo, and it will stay on this for a bit. Okay. Ready?
The printing paper is not ready. Please check.
I've just realized I've turned the volume down, so it wasn't as loud as when I first powered this thing on, and it, yeah, scared the shit out of me. So a fun little thing as well, if you want to look in the description, the system files from this thing are in there. Feel free to go through them and have fun, because there's a whole bunch of sound files for this thing with various error messages and stuff like that. So have fun with that. I've listened to a couple of them and they're funny. Swapping down, we don't have too much. It is very minimal. Got Wi-Fi, which I'm already connected to, cellular data, Bluetooth, airplane mode, screenshot, flashlight, and battery saver. And the brightness is all the way up as well. I think I'll probably leave it about there. That should be not too distracting to look at. So if I turn the LED on, it's reasonably bright for what it is. And I have done a camera test and it's pretty good. So yeah, if you were in a retail setting and you needed a torch to scan a QR code or something like that, you absolutely can. Small little problem as well. Usually these things have NFC built into them, you know, when you want to pay with a card, beep. This doesn't have NFC, which I thought was really strange. So it's basically just limited to scanning QR codes and then printing out a receipt from there. But otherwise, the default apps on this is just literally a tools folder, which has system update, instruction, feedback, remote assistance, ShopCenter, gallery, downloads, and calculator in it. Then we have settings, app store, POS Steward. No, Steward is not a piece of shit. Don't pick on him. And then we have a folder with my apps in it, which is all the apps that I've installed onto this. So since it's rooted, I've got Magisk on there, which is so weird saying that, Magisk. File Manager, Aurora Store, SMS Messenger, Device Info Hardware, Dialer, Bluetooth Print, Sound Recorder, QuickShortcutMaker, and Camera. Why is Camera in here? Because Camera's actually hidden by default. So it's very bare bones and locked down. But we're going to see what exactly we can do with this machine. So let's start with jumping into settings. Now, one thing that actually does make sense, this doesn't have a screen lock by default. So if you just press the power button and then press it again, there's no lock screen. But we can have swipe, pattern, pin, or password. I'm going to put it to swipe, change wallpaper. And if we go to wallpapers, we have one wallpaper because this is supposed to be running the software, which basically takes over this entire thing. So that's going to be on screen for the most part anyways. Wi-Fi I've already connected to with dual band Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, data usage. And if we go to more, airplane mode, hotspot, VPN, cellular networks, and network setting reset. And in cellular networks, sure enough, I've got 4G connected with Telstra and everything. No eSIM as of yet. I'll show you that soon. In display, we've got brightness level, wallpaper, which obviously we can't change much. Sleep, font size, display size, cast, display direction. Now you may be thinking to yourself, what exactly does that mean, SMOOREZ? Doesn't this just have an auto rotate? No, doesn't have an accelerometer in it. So you have to manually do it, and then now I can use it like so if I wanted to for the entire review, which actually isn't a bad idea, but I will put it back to the normal default. Oh, font manager. Oh, no. Can we? Welcome to use font manager. In the course of the mobile network will produce cost traffic charges. Please consult your local operator, continue or not. Okay. Oh, no way. Wait. Can I put... Wait a second. SMOOREZ is curious. I'm going to just do a little something. I don't think this worked. I'm fairly sure it didn't work. I put the Doom font on here just to see. It probably needs to go in a specific folder, but I searched for font and I couldn't find anything. So that's a bit unfortunate. I would have loved to have had the Doom font on this. I mean, I have root access, so I should probably be able to do it. But anyways, that's all that was in display. Notifications, we don't have to go into because we'll go into apps. Sound, we have the media volume at that. So I'll just bump it all the way up. Ah, okay. Notification volume, we'll just bump all the way. Ah, okay. Do not disturb. Default notification ringtone is pixie dust. Other sounds, we have all that sort of stuff. And then sound enhancement, we've got best loudness. Applications. Now, if I go show system, I'll just quickly scroll through this. Once again, the system files are in the description, so you can see all of these that are in there. MediaTek, cheeky Android, there he is. Custom volume key. Why is custom volume keys disabled? What? Okay, sure. So a lot of the apps that are installed on this are oh, fancy color. What's fancy color? Well, I've got QuickShortcutMaker. We'll come back to that. Yeah, a lot of these are actually hidden, like File Manager. That's actually hidden, and I had to use QuickShortcutMaker to create a shortcut to, like the camera, for example, to be able to use it on here because it's not displayed on the main screen when you reset it. Does that make sense? I don't know. We've got Google Account Manager on here. Sunmi system, Sunmi launcher, Nougat as well. Toolbox, that's about it within here. Storage, I've got 1.73 gig free of 8 gigabytes, but as mentioned, 4 gigabytes is used up by the system right there. So yeah, there's not a lot of space to work with on this unit, but I'll make do with what I have. Battery is at 97%. With a printer attached to a unit, that would probably eat up battery life ever so slightly. RAM, we've got 1 gig used with 61% used with 342 megs free. I can tell you, by using this unit like a normal Android device, it's pretty laggy. And especially when I installed more apps onto this thing, it got even more laggier. Custom key, which is volume 1 upper volume, but you can change it to have an application launch. If you don't want to use the volume buttons, you can use them to do a customizable side key. And that goes with both of them too, which is kind of cool. Because realistically, this would be at maximum volume all the time. So you just go into here and not change the sound settings. Okay, well that wasted my theory then. So I was going to say, you just scroll down and off you go. But no, that's not how things work. Scan code and keyboard. Accessed scavenging devices. After selecting the keyboard type device, the input data will be sent to the input method. Currently there is no scavenging device, and currently there is no keyboard device. Just agree with it, because I don't know either. In a printer, this is the printer settings. Print style setting. We'll just leave these for now. Okay, we'll just leave that. We have ShopCenter, which this is the thing. This is the app. This is what comes up to set up the device to then have a business login and stuff like that on here. But since this one's already been set up with the custom firmware, that's all been set up anyways. So we do have the standard Gboard, but the Sunmi keyboard that's on this combines Chinese and English together. I'll just show you what it is. Like this. So if I go to start typing, it comes up all in Chinese. So you have to go to Chinese to English, and then you can start typing in whatever you want. I'll just personally use the default Gboard. In accessibility, there's no services installed, so you won't get too far with any accessibility stuff. It's not really meant for it anyways. No printing jobs as of yet. Don't worry though. Lab, which is Sunmi Link. Kiosk. Oh, Kiosk is probably to have an app loading up on default, most likely. Network radio. Network radio will use battery and network traffic additional. If you don't use it for long, close this function. Please set the PT. Okay. Oh, okay. It's actual radio. I thought it was to do with cellular, but it's not. Otherwise, within lab, there's not much else, so I'll just leave that. And in about device, we have V2 OS version 3.2.36. And if I click that, probably not gonna check the update. We wouldn't have one because it's custom, but if you were on stock, you could do that. Processor in this is the MT6739WA, which I'm pretty sure I've tested in some devices before, I just don't remember. The display, the resolution, the printer, yes. RAM, capacity, serial number, system updates. Once again, why is the speed limited to 20 kilobytes as well? Status, here is the IMEI number, if you wanted to look that up. Should correspond with this device. Then we've got model, Android version 7.1.1, which there's the Easter egg there. Baseband version, OS version, firmware version, and then other info, which comes up with Sunmi OS, version code, all that sort of stuff, and then eSIM. But eSIM no do anything. That's everything within settings that we have to look at. Settings-wise is fairly basic. There's nothing too advanced within there, but it's the applications that are on this by default that we can start to sort of play around with things. So if I go to tools, once again, we've got system update. Then we have instruction, which is your instructions. Install SIM. How to install SIM? Oh, you have to power it off and then open the rear cover. Use the pin to open the back cover as shown. Sure thing. Problem. Tells me to power it off. How do I read the instructions when it's off? Choose a SIM card and then load it in. It looks like an extra battery there or something. Look at that. What is that? Install print paper. Open up. Put in. Close. Done. That's easy. Print head maintenance. If the printing appears fuzzy, you can use the cotton swab stick to remove the dirt from the ceramic piece. Okay. Screenshots, Bluetooth printing, and that's pretty much within the instructions. It's not really that helpful. Feedback with a little face that doesn't have eyes, and you can provide feedback. You can say, hey, my device is not printing, and I don't know why it's not printing. I cleaned it and it's not printing, and I don't know, upload a pic of it not printing. Remote assistance, which is a pro version, which does come up with a unique number, and you can remote assistance. If you had an issue with this, then someone would be able to remote assist into this and fix whatever the issue is with the Android system, providing that remote assistance works. ShopCenter, which is the Sunmi ShopCenter. I believe that's the name of the guy that done the custom firmware, because he would have set this up. Since I don't want to set this up and do device management, I'll just leave it. Then we have gallery, downloads, don't have to go into there. Calculator looks like a standard calculator, and that's everything in tools. Then we have the App Store. Since by default you don't have the Google Play Store installed, and trying to install it was an absolute nightmare and a half, and that's why I just gave up on it. But you can come into this, there's an app called Anus. Okay, now the video will definitely get demonetized. Thank you very much for that. We have categories. You have payments and restaurants and retail. So all of these apps that would be, you know, handy to use since you don't have the Play Store, all of these are right here, so you can just put it on. But don't know how well these would work though. Entertainment, Airbnb. Oh, yep, that could be one thing as well. Spotify, Instagram. You could totally use this as your main Instagram device if you wanted to. TikTok's probably here as well. Oh, YouTube. Hello. I was wondering if we could do the YouTube test, and sure enough, we can. Me. Okay, that's fine. Would Chrome come up? Yes, we have Chrome. What is Google Play Winkle? Okay, well, I've installed some applications from here, so that's good. This basically has everything that you need. And I've got YouTube, barcode scanner, and Chrome now, so we can now test things. Then we go into POS Steward, which is basically management software for using this device. So I can test the device and do a whole bunch of testing if I wanted to. My device comes up with all of the specs and all of the fingerprints on this display. I do apologize, I have to keep cleaning the thing. The rear camera is 503 watts. I like how they measure the camera in watts. Special functions, screen. Well, we have the multi-touch test. Oh no, wait, no, this is, oh, okay, hang on. Oh, wee, this is fun. Well, at least it tells you that it works. Dead pixel test as well. Ooh. How's one go back? I broke it. No, I didn't. Scanner. Let's just grab the nearest thing closer to me, which is the soap phone. There you go. Barcode came up, and that is correct. Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, if you've not seen the Soap R11 review, feel free to watch it or cut it up there somewhere if you want to watch that. A device called the Soap Phone, yes, that exists. The scanner works. We've got network, which has a speed of 20 megabytes. Whee! Then we have printer, which says no paper. That's okay. And that's basically all within settings. After opening, it will automatically detect device problems and notify reminders in perception. I guess I'll just agree with that. All right, now it's time that we have a little bit of fun with this. So I'm going to open up Magisk. Custom ROM stuff really goes over my head, and honestly, it causes me so much grief to do this. Ask me 10 years ago to do custom ROMs, I'd be probably more than happy to do it, but nowadays, yeah, no, forget it. But I should have root access to everything. Oh, the app's out of date. You know what the logo looks like? The dude who done Magic's Biggest Secrets finally revealed. That guy. This guy. Him. It's very close. Missing the mustache though. Going along, we have Aurora Store, which I was told to install this to get Google Play services on this, and it did come up with Google Play services, and I did install them, but it didn't seem to work. See, there was no accounts in settings either. But yeah, YouTube is here, and that's how I downloaded Chrome and stuff onto this beforehand. But that was an optional thing though. Now, SMS Messenger and Dialer. I have sat here trying to get this working. I cannot get this to receive calls or SMSs. Because if I go to Dialer, it says this: the system has been shut down and something or other. And the same thing goes with SMS messaging. I go to send a message and it says that you cannot do it. Data-wise, yeah, I can use this for data, no problems at all. And there's nothing in settings that says, hey, flick the switch on to use this as a phone. But because we don't have an earpiece, I don't expect this to be used as a phone. But for texts and stuff like that, it should work. But it doesn't. Sorry, stupid s'mores is stupid. I'm talking in the conclusion about this thing, and I was going to say, sad I can't make phone calls on this, when I realized that there's no microphone even built into this. So what's the point? But it would have been nice to try SMS, but yeah, there you go. Moving on, I guess we'll open up device info hardware. I mean, it's right here, so we may as well do it. Just to double check everything real quickly. 1 gig of RAM, 8 gigs of storage, 1440 by 720, MT6739. It should say that I have root access somewhere here. The GPU is the PowerVR Rogue GE8100, which will explain gaming later on. Sunmi V2. I'm pretty sure this is 10-point multi-touch. 2-point multi-touch. Okay, I'll take that back. Camera, 5 megapixel, battery, good. Sensors, none. No light sensor, no accelerometer, nothing. Very plain and dull. That's why you have to use software to actually make the screen. I do have root access because I can do that sort of thing. See? It's all good. While I'm checking the specs, I may as well open up CPU system info just to see if there's anything that will help me tell anything else that's different. I'm just going along with it. All right. No, it's all fine, all correct. Sensors, 0. Camera. Since I didn't even know that the Geekbench 5 APK existed, I decided to install it on this just for the fun of it. I don't even think it'll open. Okay, if it does open, it won't run. Okay, I take that back. I'm going to go ahead and perform a Geekbench test on this. And then after this, I'm going to show you the camera. We'll do the speaker test. We'll do YouTube, Chrome, gaming test, all the usual stuff. This video is completely out of order, but that's okay. Let's run the benchmark, and that's not gonna happen. Okay, ignore everything I said, don't worry about that. Never mind, let's do camera. So the camera is basic. It has autofocus, has the LED flash. If you come up to the top here, we have the settings cog which says scene mode, picture size, image properties, not a lot you can change there. And then video is just normal, and scene mode, EIS, video quality, 640 by 480. I was going to try open camera to see if I could get more video quality, but there's a slight little problem, just a tiny little problem. There's no microphone on this. I went outside and done the usual photos and then videos. Then I reviewed the footage and went, okay, well there's no sound. That's strange. I put a sound recorder on and it doesn't have a microphone. Thought it might have had one, but it doesn't. For the video segment, I'll just play the LA Noire music throughout it because that's probably the best way to enjoy it. So sit back and enjoy the photos and videos that I took with the Sunmi V2. Won't be too long. Okay, you've just seen the photos and videos that I took with the Sunmi V2. For this device, the shots are acceptable. Autofocus does work, and then manual focus does work as well, but no HDR, nothing special like that. But since this is just made to point at QR codes, the camera's not meant to be anything spectacular, but it works. I had done the photos like this, because I thought, well, that makes sense, taking the photos like this. But the thing is, though, is that the camera's pointing sort of down, so I kind of had to do that. That's why some of the photos were a little bit iffy, but at least I tried and gave the camera a go. It's reasonable. It will do. Video quality, well, nothing too spectacular, but there's Ripley on the sink. And also that little magic wand down there is not a beauty mode, it's just for filters, which really doesn't do anything too fun, so we can leave that. That's it for the camera. It is basic. We're almost at the printer. The big feature about this thing, the printer. Before I go get that print paper that's been in the corner the whole entire video, before I go get that and load it in this, I want to do the speaker test first. And since there's no music application, I'll just go to music and there we go. That's a first. Time to get a music player off the App Store. Is this an MP3 player? This'll do. We'll use this. Zing MP3. Don't know what it is. Should work. Because I checked in QuickShortcutMaker and there's actually no music on this thing by default. So you can't be blasting Rick Astley while someone pays for something. I don't know. Okie dokie. It's all in Vietnamese, I think. Yeah. I have to log... No, I'm not logging in. Why would I have... What? No, I don't want to log in. What? No! That's silly. There we go. I think I'm good. Ah, oh, Christ! It's time for the speaker test. Best loudness is also on. I don't know if there's any EQ settings, because it's all just in Vietnamese. That's okay. They said 95 decibels, and this meter isn't really quite accurate. Please be warned that this is quite loud. Probably not the loudest speaker on the channel, but just be prepared otherwise, okay? Alright, here we go. Yeah, you're definitely not going to be missing any sounds from this unit, that's for sure. Got to like 109 on this, but granted I'm holding it right up to there. It's a beefy one that they've put in this, and now you can probably understand why while I was driving and trying to charge this thing and then it yelled at me while I was driving. It was like, oh shit. I'll probably uninstall that because I don't know how that works, even though I just demonstrated it working. Now we're finally at the point of testing the printer. I know it's taken me a long time to get to this, but I kind of wanted to build it up. And let's use the timestamps, which is fine. The Bluetooth printer is the application that I found to work the best. Open that up, then you put your paper in. Now we're loaded up. You go to the printing thing. So now it turns Bluetooth on because it communicates with Bluetooth. The printer is Bluetooth. So now we go to entry, which we have text, image, text, horizontal line, barcode, QR code, left, right, data, tabular data, text, multi-format, PDF, notepad, and CSV. Let's start with text first. So I am an avid watcher of LGR. That is also where I've got my little starting thing from, the whole greetings and welcome to another LGR thing. Except I'm not LGR, but I watch his content quite regularly, and he always does this for print tests. So I'll just do that a couple of times. That would appear to be it, and it looks a little something like this. So now we just go ahead and we press print. That's it. There we go. It prints. Granted, it's not the clearest, as you can see there. But what about an image? I have pictures on here. I also have a picture of Ripley on here. Look, there you go. You can do some little effects just there, but we'll just leave it as that. That's when she was a little baby. I only had her for a couple of weeks at that point. Now she's a big chunk. No. So if I do this, probably have to get rid of this one. Now I just print a picture of Ripley. And it's done. And now I have his picture of Ripley. There we go. Now I have a picture of Ripley with it saying farts at the top. But you know what? For a little thing like this, it's pretty cool, yeah? Let's now do another image, which was edited by PancakeSparkle, but this Android logo was from, I think, the MyMate or something like that. You can print that as well. That's it. It's done. A little bit weird with the alignment.
The printing paper is not ready. Please check.
There's Derp Droid there, which you've seen in the thumbnail anyways. That's pretty cool. Not that you can really see him, but you can have so much fun doing this. Now I could print out a PDF of a certain something, but I'm not going to do that. And I can do text formats and all that sort of thing, but I'm going to go back to images because I find this the most fascinating thing is images. What better way to demonstrate this than with the Doom logo? So go on, print me the Doom logo.
The printing paper is not ready. Please check.
Seems fine to me. Oh, I tore off a corner of it. Now I have the Doom logo printed out. That's pretty cool. I have the ultimate Doom box art, and this has a hell of a lot of detail in it. So we'll just print this and see how it goes. Let me just make sure the print is all good. Yep, we're all good there. Go ahead and print myself the ultimate Doom box art. This may take a while. Oh, that's cool, man. It's like a an instant camera, you know, like a Polaroid. You just take a photo and there you go. Granted, you'd get better photos with a Polaroid, but you know what? I think this makes it worth it. And now I can just print out a whole bunch of funny things using this. You waited all this time to just see me printing out silly stuff. Yeah, I could have printed out the Doom Bible on this. I could have, or a huge PDF of something. I could have done that, but I'm not gonna, because I want to preserve my one roll of paper that I borrowed from ewaste guy that he's not going to get back. As expected, with the printer attached to it, it prints. I thought with this being an ewaste as well, that it wouldn't work. That's why I didn't want to buy a whole packet of rolls just in case it didn't print. And it prints. It's fine. I could probably get a slightly bigger roll to put in this to have a bigger image most likely, but with what I have for this $10 thing, and I can do that, it wins me over straight away. I hope you all thoroughly enjoyed that. So yeah, now that I've spent way too long talking about the printing aspect, but that's the main thing about this thing, isn't it? Is the whole printing thing. When I tear this apart, I'm going to take a look and see how that works. Now, we're almost at the end of testing this device. So I've got Chrome and YouTube left, but I also have to do the gaming test. Slight problem though, because of the storage, I couldn't install Grand Theft Auto 3 and then have all the other applications on here. And I've had to sideload GTA 3 on as well, so that's why I couldn't try San Andreas or anything, because there's no way it would fit. But let's try Chrome, and we'll just see how it goes. So we'll just do a little something like this. Go to Sunmi V2, and there you go. It is loading. It is getting there. It's okay. For me to sort of also sit back and go, well, this device isn't really good for browsing. It's not meant to be used for an employee sitting there just on social media just going, yeah, I'll sell you something soon. Give me a second. I'll print your receipt now at the moment. Just let me scroll. Oh, on Marketplace. Oh, cool. Oh yeah. That's right. I was supposed to sell you something. Look at her face. She's just like, the fuck are you even talking about, bro? Hi, do you sell welcome devices? We do what? Do you sell welcome devices? Welcome. You know, welcome. You know, they boot up with welcome. Do you want me to show you a photo of it? Okay, maybe I'll not show you a photo of it. Where am I even, anyways? Am I in a vegetable store or something? What do you even sell here? To be honest, I'm not even sure myself. Fair. Thanks for your time. There's also a Pro version as well, which really would have loved the Pro version because it's more Pro, but it's also more expensive. Hang on, it's loading. Sorry, there we go. And for this $10 thing at eWaste, it's fine. And that has NFC. So that is what you're meant to be using. But yeah, that's pretty cool. And yeah, it has a barcode scanner built into it too, not just, you know, using the camera to do it. So this is a better point of sale system, and it has dual SIMs as well. I think they're dual SIMs. Yeah, dual SIMs. There are a lot more high performance vSIM without installing a physical SIM card. Yeah, we'll still haven't worked out eSIM on this thing. So yeah, curious, how much do they want for one of these things? About $400. That's probably Australian too. 299 euros. That gives you an idea. AliExpress, yeah, 261 USD. There's no way that I'd, number one, be offered one of these to review from a website or something like that, and I wouldn't purchase one myself. So that's why going to eWaste is so fun, because you never know what you're going to find. Just seeing that sitting there in the mix of all the stuff at eWaste, it's just like, okay, how did you get here? How much are you? And do you work? And all those questions got answered. So yeah, you can browse fine on this. But let's try YouTube. Finish this off with some good old YouTube. Try good old Costa Rica in... What if we just go... Okay. Okay, it works. I think it works. Yep, we'll just go back. No problems. Don't worry about that. Yep, it's enabled. Can I just, like, tell it to go away? Aww. Well, that doesn't work. But I can say the display is quite nice on it, though. I didn't even show you a close-up of the display, but while it's pretty hard to tell, you know, the quality of it just from camera, I can say it does look pretty good. Not as good as the Soap R11. That had a good display on it. This is good, but it's not impressive by any means. Sad that I couldn't do the YouTube test, though. But I think what you want to see is gaming on this. How does Grand Theft Auto 3 run on a device like this? Well, future SMOOREZ, no, past SMOOREZ is going to tell future SMOOREZ how that don't worry, I'm creating my own cinematic universe. That's okay, I'll splice the footage in for you all. Hi past SMOOREZ, it's future SMOOREZ. No wait, that doesn't make sense because I'm recording this bit first before anything. In editing, everything will make sense. But at this point in time, I'm about to do the gaming test. While we do have 8 GB of internal storage, 4 GB is user accessible, and Grand Theft Auto 3 takes up about 1.5 GB of space. So I've had to uninstall basically everything just to do the gaming test first, to demonstrate that. Then I'll get Grand Theft Auto 3 off this, reinstall the apps back onto this, and we should be fine. Does that make sense? Great. Because it says 512 meg, but if I connect it to my computer, it says 54 megabytes. As I've probably said 20 times throughout the review now, this thing is not intended to be used as a normal Android device. I now have to figure out how I'm going to play Grand Theft Auto 3 comfortably on this thing. Let's launch it. There it is. I've played GTA 3 on a watch, on several tablets, phones, all that sort of stuff. This is the first time that I'm going to be playing on this, and you know what? That's kind of like a grip. It's like half a handheld gaming console, you know, except there's no buttons there. Just pretend there's buttons. I'll just put everything to the maximum settings. There we go. I might just turn it down ever so slightly. Oh god, it's laggy. Hey! 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 And because of no Play Store stuff, that's why I'm kind of limited to only playing this game. Well, you know what? It's smooth. It's buttery smooth. Okay, but just how alright. Okay. Alright, let's go. Yeah, there you go. So, you know, if you're at work one day and you're just like, nope, I want to play Grand Theft Auto 3 on the machine we use to sell our products, you can totally do that. You can. The speaker's nice and loud. You know, some frame dips here and there. To be expected, of course. I don't think there's a vibration motor in this either. You know what? It looks really good, though. I will say it looks really good. It's just very uncomfortable playing it like this. That, my friends, is GTA 3 on a point-of-sale system, and it's now running like perfectly smooth because there's nothing on screen. Whee! I hope you thoroughly enjoyed that. Now that I have got a good idea of what's going on, I can now put the regular applications back onto this and start this review. That makes no sense, just agree with me. That's gaming on this. And it didn't even heat up either. It just was fine with it. Not that I'd be able to feel the heat anyways because of how sort of thick it is. It's a little warm, but it's not too bad from that. Especially just around here is probably the hottest because I'm holding it right there anyways. If this had more storage and I could actually put Google Play services on here. I could potentially do a lot more, but we are limited with the Android version being 7.1, as well as the RAM as well. With only 1 GB, there's not a lot I can do. If we put it back to in a business environment, perfectly fine, but I wouldn't get this version. I'd buy the Pro version because you'd want NFC. With this being as janky as it is with the whole custom firmware that I've got on this, which is basically the same as regular firmware, just with the whole ShopCenter app being taken out by default and all that sort of stuff. It is completely bare bones stock with just a few applications, and you can install your own apps on this and do what you want with it. But obviously, if you were to find it at ewaste and it has a business connected to it, then you're going to have to do all the stuff that I did, which I still can't wrap my head around. It prints, it's got a loudspeaker, the display's nice. I just realized why phone calls don't work. Oh, Jesus. Without a microphone being on this, yeah, phone calls obviously aren't going to work. So as a fun little stuff around with device, it's pretty cool. But in a business setting, it would be fine, I guess. If you've used one of these in your own business, and if you've had success with this, then feel free to let me know. But otherwise, I think that is pretty much everything that I need to cover on this unit. So now I'm going to factory reset it because I need to showcase the setup at the start of the video. So I'll quickly do that, and then we'll tear this apart and have a good look inside the Sunmi V2. Oh yeah, Phoenix recovery, by the way. Yeah, the recovery menu looks pretty cool on this, actually. You know, I went ahead and done the conclusion and everything like that, and was ready to tear this down, and then I filmed the part where I reset this, and then I realized I didn't open up QuickShortcutMaker. In saying that though, this is completely stock with none of my applications installed. So let's go through this and see what things we can do. The App Store, which we've already taken a look at. Call management, as mentioned earlier when I was going on about phone calls and stuff and how cool it would have been to make phone calls on this. Unfortunately, that's not going to work, but there are settings for phone. Cameras hidden in here, which is just MediaTek. What's fancy color? Fair. That's what fancy color does. Feedback, files, font manager, which, yeah, I can't get that working, sadly. Google Account Manager is on here by default. Google Services Framework is on here as well. MMI is a factory test. Yep, there you go. And yeah, phone services is right here. So the phone services are probably just built into the system, but can't be enabled because of no microphone and stuff. That's most likely the issue that I'm facing with it. If they've disabled phone, they've probably disabled SMS as well. Just an assumption there. POS Steward, which we've already had a look at. Settings, ShopCenter, Storage Manager, Sunmi Agreement, Sunmi Base Service, Sunmi Input, Sunmi Launcher, System UI. Toolbox, Ethernet. They've got Ethernet. Background is another MediaTek thing, Wallpaper, and that's really it. So yeah, no music player in here, by the looks of it anyways. But yeah, how you would get to camera is by opening this up and then placing a shortcut on the main screen in order for you to then use it, because there's no way that I've found to get to the camera from this. That's a QuickShortcutMaker. Alright, power it off. And let's tear this thing apart somehow. There's a bunch of Phillips head screws in here, but then there's also 2 security screws. And by security, it's like Torx without the Torx. Like, we've seen a picture of the motherboard in the listing. It did show what it's supposed to look like, but we'll see if it does look like that, or if there's any hidden things on the motherboard. We'll have to see. Yeah, there's one on AliExpress that has no battery in it. They're selling it for 145 Australian, so if you have a battery for it, then you can buy it and put it in if you want. The battery's optional. With all those screws being removed, I'll take the printer paper out because there's more screws. I guess the idea at this point is just take all the screws out that I see, and I think that's all the screws. Okay, we're in. So that's the back plastic there with all the stuff on there. Did I kill the battery? The manufacturer is Ningbo Vekan battery, and it is the 2580 mAh battery, but it does look very Xiaomi-like. Then our battery can just lift. Okay, that's not coming out. Got it. Here is a bit of a strange one. There's 2 batteries. Okay, is it dual 2500? Because it advertised 2580 milliamp hours. They wouldn't put 2 1250 milliamp hour batteries together to... Could they? That's a possibility. I'm not too sure, but that thing was stuck in, I'll tell you that. now the thing weighs basically nothing. The loudspeaker is also there as well. That's probably a 40mm driver right there. Sorry, 30mm. And the motherboard also looks like what it displayed on the listing, so no issues with that. Here's my little issue from this point on, is how does one... Okay, the 5MP camera is just there as well next to the little LED flash. Now with all of the screws removed, I can just take... Oh boy. Okay. Yep. Gotta be careful. Yep. Alrighty. It's very finicky to do this, but basically underneath the motherboard is just shielding, and it's shielding that I can't take off, but there's no cooling or anything like that. That's a real big issue right there of trying to take all that stuff out, because there's a flex ribbon that's in the way. I want to make it absolutely clear that I never want to pull this thing apart again. Yep. 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 Okay. I spent the last 40 minutes trying to take this thing apart. I've now wrecked the side of it because it got stuck somehow. It just would not budge. My plastic tool wouldn't open it, so I had to use my metal tool and pop it open. I'm going to now power it back up, and hopefully it still works. Okay, still powers on. I think I killed the printer. There was a series of flex ribbons that went from this to the main board, and I screwed the case back together with those flex ribbons in between the casing, so I think I've killed the printer. There's no way it's going to work now. Yeah, nah. Shit. Let me show you this absolute fuckery. Right there is a big old hole straight through the connector, and that is straight to the motor as well. This little plastic piece was sitting right on top of it, and obviously when I've screwed it back down together and not even realized it's there, I've pierced through it, and that's ultimately killed it. I guess this is what happens with teardowns and stuff. I had no idea if I was going to be able to do this or not. Realistically, it would have been cool to print things and stuff like that. It would have been cool, but I wouldn't have known how that all came together. And yeah, well, I mean, I could probably actually buy a new printer piece. Let me just see. I did look on AliExpress, and I'm pretty sure there's a replacement piece for this. I'm saved. All hope is not lost. I can purchase a replacement piece for $12. Oh, I thought I'd caused a lot of mayhem. I mean, I have caused a lot of mayhem. At least I know now how it all comes apart, because I went into this completely blind. I had no clue what I was doing. Yeah, that's the piece. You can see right through there. Dang. Ah. What a journey, what a little adventure that was, but it is unfortunate. I will say that, it is unfortunate, but I don't need to print anything for the meantime, so I'll just order another one and then just replace it in my own spare time. I think I've demonstrated everything that I've needed to demonstrate on this. I think I would have been a lot more disappointed if I'd taken this apart, destroyed the printer, like I did, and then if I went on into AliExpress and it was like $100 or something like that to replace the printer, I'd be like, okay, no, that's not going to happen. But being that it's only $12, I'm perfectly fine with that. My $10 machine has now turned into a very scratched up thing.
The printing paper is not ready. Please check.
At least it still works. It took me like an hour and a half to disassemble this thing and then put it back together. But at least I've learnt my lesson. I should have checked, because when I was putting the thing back together, I noticed that the top piece wasn't going in properly, because I seen all the flex ribbons and I thought, I'm not going to touch that, I'll just leave it. So I put it all back down. Obviously, the flex ribbons have shifted, which as you can see there, there's plenty of movement for them to shift around, and what's happened is that's supposed to be across there, and yeah, I've just pushed it down into there, and that is how that has destroyed that, unfortunately. Well, there you go, everyone. That's the slightly depressive ending to the Sunmi V2 point of sales system thing that I've now spent way too much time on, considering I spent 5 hours doing the whole custom firmware thing. Now I've spent almost 3.5 hours doing this review. Then I've got to purchase another one of these and then fit it in, and hopefully that works. And yeah, I'll do that off camera because it was so difficult to do this with the camera right above me. If you have made it to the end of this video and are feeling depressed as well because of seeing that be destroyed, I feel your pain, because I really wished that I didn't destroy it, but hopefully that part's an OEM one and it can just, and that's it. End of story, hopefully. In saying that, yeah, if you've made it to the end of this video without using the timestamps, thank you so much for sticking around and watching this video unfold. This really was a chaotic one, but yeah, all good if you needed to use the timestamps. And once again, if you needed to use AdBlock or YouTube Ban, so it's completely fine, it's all good. As I said, I want to have a look at that Zebra barcode scanner and the other ones that I've got, so I'll probably do them in the next coming weeks, but I want to take a look at a few other small little projects in the meantime, so stay tuned and I will work out what the next video will be. Otherwise, it is now almost 2 AM. I need sleep and I'm going to order this thing off AliExpress. So thank you very much for watching this review of this thing. I hope you did enjoy it. And yeah, let me know if you've used one of these things before and if you own one and have done custom firmware to it. And if it's proved to be a headache for you too, because it certainly has for me. But anyways, thanks so much everyone, I really do appreciate it, and as always, take care, stay safe, be good people, and I'll see you all in the next one, which will be something cheap. I'll figure it out. I'm cleaning up and doing inventory and all that sort of stuff, so I will work it out for sure. But yeah, until the next one, please take care, and I will see you then.
If you like this content, feel free to leave a like or a dislike if you didn't. Thanks heaps for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next video.